Welcome as Gwynn and I explore Australia's westernmost point. It's an area of steep cliffs, crashing waves, and scenes like this.
Those tracks, I think that's a dingo? What do you reckon? It's a dingo, surely.
Must be.
Eh?
Because they don't allow dogs in.
Must be. This morning we are going to Steep Point. This is the most westerly point of the Australian mainland. It'll take us 40 minutes to get there. And if the wind isn't too bad, I'll fly the drone. I'm Andrew St Pierre White. Join me as I share my passion for building four-wheel drive trucks and travelling to the remotest parts of the world. These videos are made possible by contributions from Patreons. Join the Patreon family now. Well, the wind never stops here. It blows every day of the year. It's too hard to fly the drone. There's too much wind to fly the drone. But here you are. So this is one of Australia's newest citizens. This little Pupsy here has got her Australian citizenship.
Yep.
And she's now standing on the furthest westerly point of the mainland. What do you reckon?
I think it's stunning. Look at all that ocean.
Kind of bigger than 100 ponds. I just saw Australia's most westerly lizard. You are now Australia's most westerly citizen.
Got vertigo and your feet actually itch.
No.
Like that weird itching
Okay.
in your feet. That crash as it comes through the blowholes. It's the most amazing sound. So do you want to tell us what we're doing?
Right, driving down the west coast portion of the Peninsula at Shark Bay, and feeling quite frequent bumps from the back, in that the vehicle is clearly undersprung at the back. So my little experiment was a good one. I learned something. But I'm going to need the heavier springs. So I will fit those before my next trip. Every now and again I've actually hit the bump stops on my back axle. And I shouldn't be doing that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Pretty country. Country. Okay, I think we may have taken a wrong turn.
I think we should have carried on the stone, because that's what the lady said. She said you carry on the rocky road.
Looking at the map, we've come off the track. Yeah, we have. There was no sign there, but we're actually heading
towards the...
We want to continue down there, don't we? You know something, it doesn't actually make much of a difference. Oh no, we want to go all the way down there, don't we? You know, it does make a difference. I will turn around.
There's a little cave there. I'm just going to have a look at it. Okay, I think we may have made a taken a wrong turn. I think so. We should have carried on the stone, because that's what the lady said. She said you carry on the rocky road. so glad I came here. This is absolutely one of the most beautiful places I've been to in Australia. It's just incredible. The landscape, how varied it is, and how desolate it is, and how puny you feel compared to these elements, you know, rock and sea, and just humbling experience.
Several people have commented and asked with big question marks, why the GPS up there? Well, this is going to be slow. I'm going to go back into first. Because if I have it here, it's blocking out my windshield. If I have it here, it's blocking out my entertainment center. If I have it down here, it's blocking out my switches and things and controls. If I have it down here, well, that's too far down. Whereas if it's here, I can look at it easily, control it without leaning forward, glance at it. I'm not driving, you know, it's not like a heads-up display where I have to look at it while I'm navigating. I'll drive normally, double check, continue driving, double check, continue driving. So I like it up there a lot. And the Garmin mount allows me to at any time take it off and work on it and put it back. I've had it up there in a couple of my vehicles, and definitely my chosen location for a GPS.
Okay, we've got another crossroads. I would say this one.
I'm pretty sure that goes to the edge of the cliff, and this is the one here. I can hear them, blowholes. I can hear them.
This is a good kit.
Yeah, can you see what you're doing there? I can't come in next to you to look at it. Yeah, I took a tumble.
We just want a bit of plaster and some betadine.
Some antiseptic.
Yeah,
and,
betadine. Should we just give it a bit?
It doesn't need more than the plaster. It's actually fine.
Ooh.
It doesn't need more than the plaster.
Not only did I take a bit of a fall, so did my camera.
I'll try and clean the camera. Now my knee is starting to sting. The first time, I hardly felt it. I didn't feel it, in fact. Now it's stinging.
Typical graze. That was quite a deep graze.
Yeah, it was. This is an interesting piece of... am I going left or right here?
Right. You said it would be entertaining.
Sorry. I could have made it a lot more entertaining.
I'm glad you didn't.
The sea is so blue, it's almost black. Wow, look at that.
It's beautiful.
That's a causeway, going to drive across that. It goes right across the lagoon.
Oh, it looks like this is not a public road after all, and we're not going to be able to cross.
It's a pity because I had the drone all ready to get a nice drone shot of the crossing, of the causeway, but
It is what it is.
Yes, we just have to go backwards all the way now, so it's going to take a bit longer, but yeah, just don't lean forward. I'm going to need that mirror every now and again. Tell you what we might do though. If we go down that way, we could go forward. We wouldn't have to go reverse all the way. What do you think?
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, I think we're going to do that.
Here we go.
At last, the reveal. What is this box on the top of my spare wheel? It is all my tyre stuff. I'll explain to you later how I made it, but it contains everything I need to pump up my tyres. Not everything to change the wheel because it doesn't have the jack and the jack levers in there, but all my tyre stuff, tyre repair stuff, etc, etc. And that is a little trick of the trade. That padlock, it's wrapped in a silicone rubber. It stops it rattling. Well, it reduces the rattle, let's put it that way.
The area where I had to deal with the soft sand has come to an end. For now, at least.
I thought that was a very, very apt name for a supermarket. Perhaps the best I've seen. In an area where they celebrate natural biodiversity as far as they possibly can, and right here is a supermarket called the top of the food chain, and they're not wrong. It is the top. This is where all of this ends up, so we humans can eat it.
We are in a town called Denham, the tourist centre of the region.
Put your toes in about where I am. Just make a nice straight line so that everyone can see.
And we're going to spend a couple of days doing a few touristy things. This is Monkey Mere. The only reason it appears for this place's existence is by virtue of the fact that there are some tame-ish dolphins. They are wild, but they come here for a snack every now and again. And people flock to see them.
Take all the photos you like. That's it, beautiful. She's been giving visitors joy for years and years. She actually started the program, I think, when she was about 17. And they come back to family at night. And that's what these dolphins do. They're constantly coming together, meeting up with friends, families.
Touristy things, though, don't really float my boat, so I'm glad to be back on the road again. Well, a track.
We're on a narrow bush track. Thick sand, sun shining, going somewhere amazing. And I'm sitting in the cockpit this morning, actually it was Paul Marsh came to mind. Because I've done a lot of trips like this with Paul and look through the windscreen and I see everything. No bugs, no things stuck to the windscreen, because Paul has this anal habit of every morning when we get into the car, he's cleaned the windshield inside and out.
Good on Paul.
It is so annoying. Well, because I feel guilty because it's filthy, it's disgusting. What do you reckon?
Apart from the flies, it's perfect.
Perfect. Beautiful. How's the water? Not too cold?
It's chilly.
No.
It's chilly. So we're at Gregory's, which is in the Francois Perron Nature Reserve.
stable. Need to dig a hole there.
It's nice seeing you work.
Actually, the water is very cold. Not a little bit cold. Actually cold. This to me is the meaning of this kind of travel. Finding a spot like that on a beach like this, hardly anybody around. Because the roads are challenging, the sand is thick, it eliminates a large number of the population, even some four-wheel drivers that are not that comfortable with being that remote or driving in potentially conditions where they can get stuck and if they're on their own. So basically you have a small number of people that will that'll come to places like this, and you can enjoy it. This is what it's all about. As wonderful as this place is, the experience is marred by flies. They are really bad. They've got worse during the day. It's just so beautiful, it's so picturesque, you know, but the experience itself is just, you know, we spent most of the day waiting for it to get dark and not enjoying the place, because you have to wear a fly mask to make it even bearable. So we're going to try tomorrow the other part of the island. I mean, I wanted to fly the drone. The light is perfect for the drone to get some shots. Filming with a drone with flies is not possible. You can't do it because through a fly net you can't actually see what's on the screen properly, and without one they're too distracting. So I keep thinking, well, try again. And the few times that I've never succeeded in getting a decent drone shot when there are lots of flies. I've tried 10 times, and every time I've done exactly what I've just done now. To hell with it, land. And the light is gorgeous, and it's paining me because I'm going to give it another try. The fact is that I've learned that travelling in Western Australia between November and June is risky because of flies. Sometimes you get few, sometimes you get a small amount, sometimes you get lots. You never know what you're going to get. It's still worth trying to find no flies, because to me they can make a difference between loving a place and not really enjoying myself at all. So what's for supper tonight? An all-electric meal again.
An all-electric meal.
Yeah.
I've got some mince that I made at home, which we're going to have on toast with a fried egg on top.
With a fried egg on top?
Yes.
Using our toaster?
Using our toaster.
Excellent. We have the inverter going and we have the cooker going. We're using 366 watts from the battery at the moment, which is the equivalent of 1,840 watts, which is the AC load. And now I can hear, can you hear that gentle hum? That is the inverter's hum turning on. We're 1800 watts. We're well within the... Actually, I think my conclusion, part of my conclusion of all this is that the 3 kilowatt inverter is overkill. And look at that light.
There you go, boys.
Oh, look at that. Wonderful.
A mess of food.
Wonderful. That light. Unbelievable. How beautiful it is. Very, very peaceful night. The wind died down. There were a couple of crabs around the car, saw them, some of them made little holes, but this morning the winds come up and the flies are very bad this morning. So I think what we're going to do, instead of spending another night here, our intention was 2 nights here, we're going to head off to the eastern shores of the peninsula. There is an area there where they say it's less influenced by the wind. There are wind breaks, and also the wind do affect the flies, so we're hoping that on that side of the island there will be fewer flies. The big question, the camper or this, in terms of driving, camping, sleeping?
This, absolutely, I love this setup.
Okay, why? Specifics.
All right, specifics. So we're leaving Gregory's camp in the Francois Perron Reserve, and we're now heading to Herald Bight, which is on the other side of the peninsula. So follow us to see where we go. Oh, I thought you wanted me to film you driving off and coming back to fetch me and all this reality TV that actually isn't all that real.
Yeah, just imagine her running back to the camera, collecting it and coming back and getting into the car. Imagine that. Let's go. This is Skipjack Point, very close to the northernmost tip of the peninsula. That is the lighthouse that last night we could just see above the horizon flashing.
Scenery is just insane. The colours, just absolutely spectacular.
There's another one, 2 more. Large fish. Look in the shallows there. There's a shallow in the shallow there. There's
It's a shark.
Shark in the shallow.
Yeah.
Down there is a very large fish. I don't think
It's another shark. Or
are
is
they
it-
all sharks?
I'm wondering.
It looks broader.
There's another shark
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's so cool. This is a marine sanctuary, and it just shows you the difference between an area where fishing is not permitted and where fishing is permitted. And I've seen it before in places that are set aside for the marine life and other places where it doesn't seem to matter as much. And they all have one thing in common. They are teeming with life. What is that over there? That's something very large in the water there. What is that? I think it's a ray.
Then again, if you wanted to get a really good look at a shark, just visit the aquarium in Denham. And it won't be as windy either.
Remember that supermarket we went to? It's at the top of the food chain? No! There is the top of the food chain.
That was absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever seen sharks in the wild before. I've seen dolphins and I've seen whales and I've seen whale calves in the wild before, but never sharks. Boy, it's a sinister shape when you look down at them. And they were just basking in the sun. And then a huge, he was big, came past. I don't know if we got any footage of him, but man, he was big.
He was a 2.5, between 2 and 3 meters shark. He was
A
very,
big daddy.
Very big, yeah. Whereas most of the other ones were quite small actually, and wouldn't scare me at all if I was in the water. But that big one, ooh, no, that's scary.
Well,
Top of the food chain. This has turned out to be a bit of an exploration for us, going in and having a look at all of the different campsites, because we're going to come back. This is an easy, you couldn't get into the park in one day, but you could get really close to it in one day's drive, and then, have an amazing holiday in this area, close to home. So we want to look at all of the different campsites and get an idea of what might be good in certain wind conditions, etc., for a future trip.
We've arrived at what I think will be our final campsite for this trip. The idea is to spend 2 nights on the beach here.
What do you reckon?
I was about to ask you that. You took the words out of my mouth.
It's we can drive up the beach that way, or we can drive up the beach that way, and I think it's probably exactly the same over there that it is over here, and there's some people who have camped over there. The bank, the thing gets steeper over there, so it'll be less easy to camp because it's a steeper thing. The sand here is really thick though, but I'm thinking that we actually should park our vehicle up in this spot here on this flat bit. I'm going to try and reverse up. But isn't this a perfect place, a little flat place here? Yeah, hey? Nice. It's really nice, eh? So I'm going to try and reverse up here because it's very soft.
Oh, look at this. I may have found...
And you've got found a shell.
Yeah, there you go. That's my shell of the trip.
Good. You're hoping it's going to be warmer?
Yeah, they tell me the Indian Ocean's supposed to be warm. Let's see. They lied.
Just look at them.
And we know there's some bloody big fish out there.
Big pointy teeth. But you know, if I wanted to come and just have a little, you know, I like my isolation fix every now and again, just to find myself in the middle of nowhere. This is perfect. It's perfect distance. It really is lovely. Wild. I swear the water here is not as cold as it is on the other side. This is beautiful. Really beautiful. I'm actually quite excited about finding this whole area. Really excited about finding it. It's beautiful. It's 5:20 and there is now a plague of tiny moths. Millions of them.
Coming to the end of our trip. It's been fabulous, as these always are. We're going to start heading back to Perth tomorrow. We expect it'll take 2 days. If anything interesting happens, we'll film it, but we kind of feel that this is pretty much the end. We hope you've enjoyed watching it, and we hope that you will be around for a lot longer to watch a lot more adventures with us as we go out and do stuff. And we really appreciate your support, and we couldn't do this without you. Thank you.